am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? And I come upstairs and I'm already looking at you guys and you have lights flashing at me. Are you guys recording me? You know, it's much easier. Some people, you guys are filming me like this, and then later on you say, I'll watch it later. And then you see yourself watching me like this later. You guys are all filming, okay. This is like the airport, okay. So anyways, my friend invited me to go to his wedding. And he knows me for about 17 years. Way before I was Baba Ali. I did the whole Baba Ali thing about 5 years ago. And he said, Ali, I need you to come to my wedding. I said, sure, of course I'm coming. And he said, I just need one small favor. I'm like, what? Can you come and do comedy at my wedding? I'm like, his name is, I'm not gonna say his name because you guys are recording me. Well, anyways, I said, no, I don't do comedy at the weddings. He's like, why? I said, when I go to weddings and I try to do comedy, I'm talking, but no one's listening because they're all eating and talking to each other. And he's like, oh, it's okay, my wedding's gonna be really boring, so they'll probably be listening to you. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. He said, listen, I'm a doctor, my wife's a doctor, my dad's a doctor, and everyone that's coming is a doctor. So there's a lot of doctors, so it's gonna feel like a medical facility. You know, it's gonna be like it's like a hospital. You know. So we need someone to spice it up, make it exciting. I'm like, oh. He's like, Ali, for 15 years, I've never asked you for anything. I asked you for this one small favor. I said, okay, fine, I'll come. And I go to the wedding. True story. I sit in his wedding. I wait for all the speeches and all the talks, and there's nothing of humor. There's no entertainment. And then finally the father stands up and he says, I'd like to thank Dr. So-and-so for coming tonight. And that doctor would stand up and everyone will clap for him. And I also like to thank Dr. So-and-so for coming tonight. And the next guy will stand up and everyone will clap for them. And they're like, okay, he's done. No, he's not done. I also like to thank Dr. So-and-so. And he did this over and over, and all these doctors one by one stood up. And then I realized, like, everyone's pretty much a doctor except for me, and I said, I got it! I know what I'm gonna say that's gonna be so funny that everyone's gonna laugh! So they says, and then he was finished, he said, okay, we would like to invite our friend Baba Ali to speak. So I walk up, I'm like, Assalamu alaikum everybody. With all the doctors that are here tonight, who's at the hospital? They didn't laugh. They were looking at each other, who's at the hospital? And everything was downhill from there. It was a complete disaster. Everything I was talking about, they thought it was like an announcement. I'm like, this is why I don't do weddings. SubhanAllah. So, but anyways, I'm here today. And looks like, it looks like we have a lot of sisters here. How many brothers do we have?
Brothers!
How many single people do we have here today? How many married people do we have? Okay. Now, let's break this down real quick. When I said how many sisters do we have, we say woo, right? When I said how many single people do we have, same sisters, hey! When I said how many married people we have, what do you guys say? How many people do we have? You see? Everyone's quiet. So let's get a raise of hand. How many single people do we have? Get a raise of hands. How many married people do we have? How many people are confused by the question because so many people are not raising their hands?
Love.
You know, a lot of times when I'm here, last time I think I was here, I was talking about my kids, right? Maybe I did. But I was talking about my kids. But one thing I noticed when I search on Google is when you type in the word Baba Ali, it shows me what most people commonly type when they're searching my name, because it automatically shows up, hey, this is what you're trying to search for, right? So when I type in the word Baba Ali, it says Baba Ali matrimonial site, Baba Ali this, and right next to Baba Ali says Baba Ali's wife. Notice how all the sisters are laughing right now. Who is Baba Ali's wife look like? What does she do? Because my wife is so under the radar. You can't find her on Facebook connected to me. There's no connection. I let her do that so she can be like, so no one harasses her, no one bothers her. So, but on stage, I've never brought her up. I've never spoken about her. Except for this tour. So, I will enter my world for a moment of what I've done to this poor girl. I married her, alhamdulillah, she's from the UK. The best sisters are from the UK, mashallah. So, you see brothers? You see, they're wooing! This is the best sister. And I married her, mashallah, and she's an amazing, amazing sister. And we have 2 amazing daughters. And we have so much fun. And let me tell you some things. At the very end, I'm going to share something special. Something special here on my phone. I'm going to share with you guys. And I'm going to save that for the very end. But one of the things with my wife is I learned to take a very proper sister. And I made her Baba Ali style, Americanized her. When she came to my place, I created every practical joke. She hates freezing cold, right? I would put my foot into the freezer. Freezing cold until my foot is in pain. I will go into the bed while she's almost falling asleep, and then slowly touch my foot against her, and hear the scream of my wife. That's not proper, that's not proper. Now with our children, we've become more advanced. When mama is in the shower, we say, okay, mama's in the shower. Kids, let's go, you know what time it is. She's locked the door because she's prepared for us. Me and the 2 children will go and we will pick the lock together. This is family time. We will unlock the door. We can hear the shower running when she is behind the curtain. We open the door very slowly. As we open the door, we grab a bucket of water. We throw it over the curtain. The cold water rushes above her. She screams, this is not proper, and we run away giggling and laughing. My wife and me have, subhanAllah, we have conversations, and she's completely immune to Baba Ali. When I first made my first video, she didn't even watch it for the first week. She knows exactly what's on the videos is what she sees in real life. Even our conversations. She showed me last week a brother named I think it was Sam from the UK, which we met when we first met in the UK. He was only about 5 years old. She said, Ali, come look at his picture. I said, what is it? Wissam is like 13 years old. He's mashallah grown so much. It's amazing. Come look at the picture. I said, that's not amazing. I said, why? I said, people grow. What's so amazing? And he said, I don't understand. I said, you want me to say that's amazing? Show me a picture of a baby. And then 10 years from now, if there's still a baby, that would be amazing. I was like, you're so silly. I learned a lot of stuff being married. I learned that women sometimes say things that they don't sometimes mean, right? Sometimes a sister will say, you never do that, which means you sometimes don't do that, right? So never means sometimes. She can also say, you always do that, which means sometimes, right? Like, you never take out the trash, which means, you know, sometimes. So never and always both mean the same thing. I'll say some translations for men, and I'll say some translations for women. Women will say something like, we need to take out the trash. When your wife says we need to take out the trash, the way the man understands this is that we are going to work together. Like we're going to carry the bin together, and we're going to throw it away together, right? So he goes there, he holds on it, he says, okay, we need to take it out, okay, we're going to take it out. And your wife is nowhere to be found. So now you understand that we means you. So the next time she speaks to you, she says, you know what, we need to talk. Then you realize that we does not mean you, we means her. You just need to listen. Another translation is, it's your decision. You know what it's your decision means? It's her decision. Thank you, you see? Is that a man clapping or a woman clapping? Because my light is flashing in my eyes. Man? Okay. Are you a married man? Yes, okay. Now, let me ask you a question, brother. When you first got married, did they say you're the head of the household? Yes. How long did it take you to realize that you're not the head of the household? 1 day? Now, let me tell you what they didn't tell you when you first got married. Before you get married, you're around the brothers are telling you, hey man, you know one thing you gotta do when you first get married, you gotta show who's boss. Yeah. I'm gonna be tough. And you remember, you're the head of the household. Yeah. Yes, I'm the head of the household. Then you get married. Then you wake up from this dream. You realize all this single brother advice is really bad advice, because what do single brothers know about being married? Nothing. And you realize yes, you are the head of the household. But guess who's the neck? Your wife. And you quickly realize the head does not have permission to move without the neck. And every direction the head is moving, the neck is moving it. So it only gives the illusion that the head is in charge, but the real charge is your wife. So we're back to our decisions. So your wife may contact you, translation here. She may text message you. She's at the shopping center. She sends a text message to you, and she says, do you love me? You know what the translation for that is? I want to buy something expensive. Very similar, but completely different meaning to this term and phrase you may hear in marriage. How much do you love me? This means I broke something of yours that's very expensive. Now, there are some terms you have to be careful of. Sometimes your wife will say something, and sometimes your wife will not say a word. Just make a sound, and you'll be in very big trouble. Like this. This means you're an idiot. This means I've been trying to explain to you things over and over again, but you just don't get it. And she doesn't say a word. All she does is this. One thing that can get you in very big trouble, and this is something that you learned the hard way. Is there anything you want to tell me? If your wife ever says something like this to you, you're already in trouble. It's too late. The more you talk, the more you're just digging your grave. It's better to be upfront about it and to say it straight up. Now, let me translate some things that brothers say. Brothers will say, it's a man thing. You know what a man's thing means, sisters? It means I'm about to do something that makes no logical sense whatsoever. And I'm going to probably hurt myself doing it. And then you're going to say, another thing that men usually say is, can I take you out? Can I help you with dinner? You're like, wow, he wants to help me with dinner? It means he's hungry. Or you're vacuuming, and he's like, you know, honey, take a break. You work really hard for the whole family. Please take a break. You know what that means? Then I'm trying to watch the football game. Can you please turn off the vacuum? All these different translations. So anyways, I talked about my wife. Let me give you a quick thing about the whole marriage thing for myself. I actually approached a sister for marriage a long time ago. That didn't work out. And I'll tell you how not to approach a sister for marriage for the single brothers that are out there. This is before I was married, obviously. Otherwise, this would be a very awkward conversation right now. I went to an Islamic conference. I was not had any intention of getting married. I was a brand new convert to Islam. I get to the conference, I go there, and I'm selling my merchandise. As I'm selling my merchandise, this one sister comes to my booth and says, I'd like to buy your product. How much is it? It was about 3 pounds. I'm like, sister, it's about 3 pounds. She said, okay, I have my own currency from my country. I need to get this converted, and once I do, I'll come back and purchase it from you. Fantastic. She goes away, she comes back and says, I'm sorry, I haven't been able to find anywhere that changes money. Can I come back again? No problem. She comes back again, and she comes back again, and she comes back so many times. We have conversations. She finally, at the final day of the conference, comes back and says, brother, please give my product to somebody else. I couldn't find anyone to change my money. Please. I said, no problem. One thing, you can take the product for free. She said, are you sure? I said, please. Sister, you came about 5 or 6 times to my booth. It's only £3. Please take the product for free. She said, Jazakallah khair, and she walks away. While she does this and while I talk, my friend is standing right next to me and does this. I'm like, what? He said, I saw you talk to so many sisters and brothers selling products, and that's the only product you gave away for free. Also, you spoke to this sister far more than any other sister. You had more eye contact. I can tell there is a connection between you and this sister. This could be your future wife walking away. Go talk to her about marriage right now. And I'm like, what? I'm not even looking to get married. Yes, it's your future. I'm like, so I'm like, okay. Give me a piece of paper. I grab a piece of paper. He's like, what are you doing? 1 second. And I run and I look for the sister. And I'm walking around this conference. All I remember, she's wearing white hijab. And it doesn't work. And I found her. And I walk up to her. I'm like, Assalamu alaikum, sister. She's like, wa alaikum salam. I'm like, okay, sister. Are you single? She blushes red and she puts her head down, yes. I said, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm brand new to Islam. I'm sure this is probably wrong, but I'm interested in speaking to you about marriage. I don't know anything about you. If you're interested in talking about marriage, you can contact me. Here's my contact information. If you're not interested, you can just throw the paper away, and that way it won't be awkward. You don't have to say, hey, let's be friends, but we really can't be friends, type of thing. And that's it, okay? But one small favor, don't throw the paper away until I walk away. Otherwise, I'll kill my self-confidence. Assalamu alaikum, goodbye. And I walk away. I walk all the way back to my booth, and when that one brother, he went and told all the brothers what I did. Now I have all these brothers at the booth wondering, who's this girl? And I'm like, who did you tell? He said, I had to tell everybody. I'm like, I only been gone for 5 minutes. And now everyone wants to know the story, and they're doing what you're doing, which is smiling. And then I'm explaining the story to them and telling them about the paper, and I gave it to her, this and that. And as I'm doing the story, the guys all freeze. And I realize something's wrong, but I keep talking. And I realize something's, and I said, is she behind me? Yes. This is not working well. And I turned around and I say, Assalamu alaikum. She's like, wa alaikum salam. And she's like, okay, here's the number of my dad so you can contact him first. I'm like, is that it? She's like, yeah, what else would it be? I'm like, nothing. Apparently she didn't hear any of the conversation, so I was like, alhamdulillah. But alhamdulillah, she was a good sister. We were talked and things didn't work out. But then I found the most amazing woman in the world, and that's the one. So, right before I leave stage, I'll share one short thing with you guys. You know, one thing that's amazing, I tell some things about amazing brothers and sisters. One amazing thing about sisters, amazing thing about sisters is the sound that the sisters make. The sound that they make in groups. You know, when I say, woo, ha, and there's one sound that they make is a very harmonious sound. It's very nice, and it's, okay, wait, one second, right before I leave stage. I told you I'll share this to the very end. I met my wife here in the UK. I haven't really brought up too much about my wife. I come here, met my wife in the UK, I spoke about her on the phone and then email, and I want to see her in person, so we met in Hyde Park in London. She was on a park bench, I walk up to her, I speak to her. After 20 minutes, I take out my video camera. She's like, what is that for? I said, just in case this works out, one day we might get married, and we might have kids, and one day our children will ask, how did you meet Mama? And I want to record it. I made a 2-hour movie and gave it to her 5 years after marriage. My daughter now asks at the age of 9 years old, how'd you meet Mama? Here's a DVD. True story. So, the last thing, and it was that text message I was going to say before I leave stage. My wife, who's mashallah a very patient wife, sends me, doesn't really express herself very often. And when she does, I'll have to be very supportive. Because people who are not don't show emotion very easily. You have to be supportive. Even sometimes I am a funny person, but sometimes I have to be supportive as well. My wife sent me a text message something like, Ali, I just want to let you know that you're the love of my life. I know I don't say it often enough, but I hope that Allah gives you the highest of Jannah and gives you success in this life and the hereafter. I just want to let you know you're the best husband in the world, and thank you for everything you do for me and for our children. Jazakallah khair. I love you. And that's it. I got this text message while I'm sitting at my chair at work. I quickly responded with 3 words. Do you know what those 3 words were?
I love you.
No, it wasn't I love you. It was, who is this?
Oh my God.
As soon as I sent her that message, she did not respond. I saw myself, I am in big trouble. So I quickly responded back and said, you're the love of my life. So she doesn't get me in trouble. She still didn't respond. So I said, but seriously, who is this? Anyways, that's my